Howdy ho, everybody. I am Donut. I'm here with my fiance.
The right.
I've seen South Park up to season 20-something.
I'm watching Blinds.
This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. And if you're not supporting that shit, then you can get the fuck out of here. This is season 8, right? Yes, season 8, episode 9, Something Wall-Mart This Way Comes.
Oh boy. So, I do remember you telling me the one time when they brought up having a Wall-Mart, that they definitely don't have a Wall-Mart.
Yeah, back in Red Man's Greed.
So I assume this has got to be a big old Walmart's coming to our small Colorado town, and it's gonna drive all these mom and pop shops out of business.
It's right there in the name, too.
Ah, yeah.
Alright, let's get into it. What would you rate the episode?
10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
There was a couple moments where I felt like the pacing was a little bit, iffy, but yeah, 9 out of 10 for me.
Alright, fair.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's so good.
Such a fucking good episode. Like, it is the perfect mix of, talking about the issues and, actually, having a good message for, all the things brought up in the episode, while also having a ridiculous, end thing of, the way to defeat Walmart is just smash a mirror in the back and it starts a self-destruct sequence.
This is the perfect having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
Because they do the sci-fi twist early, they carry it throughout, they already say the message 1/3 of the way in. It is consistent. The thing they keep on saying is, the solution to big box stores is extremely consistent all the way through. Yeah. So at the end they get to do by the way, there's the mirror.
And they get to do, the townspeople still being dumb, saying a message and it's still being dumb because their takeaway is, it was Walmart's problem, not, just shopping at one place specifically and just, shopping at the place with the best deals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is so fitting. And I think this is, my, second favorite Randy episode since the, that we've gotten to so far, since the Finger Bang episode.
Okay, yeah.
Finger Bang 1, I think, is still the best Randy episode we've seen so far. This is, I think, second.
Yeah.
I don't know, this might beat out Finger Bang. Finger Bang, I think, establishes Randy as, that kind of character, but...
Yeah, I think this beats him out for me, because, this is so... it is such a perfect, a change of his character throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's very similar, actually, to Red Man's Greed, in that, it is also the town's greed. It is, this is the mentality of the entire town.
Yeah, and Randy is the spokesperson for them.
Yeah.
And because Randy is always the one who is, we see it from his perspective first, then he chastises everyone else and then becomes their leader.
Yeah.
What was the episode a couple episodes ago? Oh, never mind. It was actually the Goobax episode where Randy just we have the red-haired guy who's in charge of them. Yeah. And then once Randy starts getting involved in it, he is immediately in charge of it. That is Randy's sort of thing. Yeah. Just as soon as he gets wrapped up in something, he is now the leader somehow. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think how did you feel about the Kyle and Cartman dynamic this episode?
It was fine.
Really, I loved it. I think this is the best Kyle and Cartman stuff we have gotten so far. At all. I love this stuff. I think, just in general, I think this is the best, plot with, Cartman being the villain and then and the other three kids not being the villain. We get that a lot, or just, that is just almost every episode, practically. Yeah. But this one worked well with having Kenny be able to do something. Right. It's still doing the thing where Stan doesn't really care and is just, constant. Kyle is he just said he's working for Walmart! And Stan's just let him come. I think it exemplifies all of them perfectly. Speaking of, the Stan not caring and all of that, one of the funniest, most ridiculous comments I got was somebody saying, the reason Stan doesn't care about Cartman is because Cartman's not mean. Because Cartman's not
Oh boy, mean. I don't know how you watch this much and not get that.
Some people really just watch this show with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really loved I don't know if it was a specific reference to anything, but Wall-Mart themselves, or like, just desire. Like, I don't know if them being that way and the, like, taking the forms is specifically a reference to, like, something Wicked This Way Comes, because I have no idea what that really is. Like, I'm aware of it, but I have no idea what the plot of that content is. I don't know if it's a book, a movie, or what.
I know it's a reference to Macbeth. I wasn't sure if that was an actual, like, the title of an actual thing with this plot.
Okay, is it just maybe it's just a quote then? I have no idea. I don't know Macbeth either, so I mean, like, I've never, like, I know of it, but I don't know it.
But yeah, it's part of the first, like, poem of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. But
yeah, I do think...
So yeah, this is just more of a general sci-fi, thing. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, like, there's definitely a lot of, like, Thing-esque, stuff in there.
Sure.
Like, I can't pick out anything specifically as the, like, this is definitely taking this, movie for inspiration.
Yeah, because of the title, I wasn't sure. But now, now I don't know. But yeah, I think, like, doing the shape-shifting, this was my final form.
Oh,
I don't know why it's so funny. Like, the form part already is, like, making fun of that sort of stuff in general. Also, like, we had that in Canceled and stuff. Like, we've done that a few times over the series. And not even just I can take whatever form, but this is my final form is a very big South Park thing as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad that this was just like they were supernatural.
Yeah.
But it was just constantly putting on hats or taking all the mustache or whatever.
I'm glad that this form of Wall-Mart / Desire didn't do the, like, wibbly-wobbly turn into tentacles thing.
Yeah.
It makes it way more surreal.
The stomping around is so funny to me. It's so good. Also, I love the sequence of going through the Wall-Mart and all the prices keep lowering as they keep looking at them.
We get to see the IP3 Okama MP3 player.
I get the IP3.
This really harkens back to a specific form of Wall-Mart as well. Like, one that I have nostalgia for.
Yeah. Like, the older, like, very early 2000s Wall-Marts.
Yeah.
Now they've gotten way more dystopian, Like, you go into there and it looks like a futuristic city where the homeless people are being hidden.
Yeah.
That's the exact vibe I get. It's just like, pure streets. It's just like, it looks like a city, and it's creepy now. I mean, it's always bad, but it didn't look creepy, like, McDonald's is the same way, McDonald's just looks really creepy now. It looks weird and dystopian and weird. It's like, before, everybody was always like, oh, yeah, McDonald's coming to our town now, just like McDonald's. But they tried to make it look like, a place that you would want to go. They had the play places and all that, and it looked rustic and, Yeah, like, the manipulation was there, whereas now they've just dropped the manipulation entirely, and they're just like, fuck it.
I'd say the manipulation's still there, it's just different.
I guess that's a good point.
It just doesn't work on you.
Yeah, you know what, you're right. Yeah, and I loved the Cartman Kyle plot of this episode. I can't get over it enough. I think that was, like, what held this episode together. I think without that, this episode would have been much lower than a 9 out of 10.
Sure.
Because even if the Wall-Mart stuff is very funny, I think having the boys tied to it so personally with Cartman, and then also with Stan with his family, and then also with Kyle with just being a moral person for the most part.
Right.
They each have... Everybody has a different reason for wanting to be here, except for Kenny. Kenny, as always, has no reason for being in the show anymore.
He's just around.
He's just here.
He at least got to do something.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the like knife thing. I couldn't remember like what was going to go on with it. I didn't do anything with Cartman just having the knife. I think it would have been funny if it was one of those knives that you press down on, and it's like a cartoon knife.
I thought it was fine because he kept on putting it away and pulling it back out.
Yeah.
It had an inherent comedy.
Yeah, it did. But yeah, I think with Kenny, like also when they, him and Kenny are confronting, you expect, I think, that he's just going to stab Kenny and kill him because that's Kenny's thing. But yeah.
I think that would have made the episode too overstuffed. Like, I think they also perfectly balanced out everything. Like, there's so many gags I didn't expect South Park to do because it is South Park. Because up until now, it has been a lot of, like, if it's a really, really good gag, it'll be, like, at the very end or the very beginning, or it will be the entire episode.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, there's a lot of things that, you know, these kind of throw in there.
Yeah, there's so much, like, small jokes in this episode that are fantastic. Okay, we gotta talk about the Kumbaya thing. Like,
yeah.
Kumbaya being now just, like, the song of South Park. It is just, that is, like, super consistent through all the seasons that we watched.
Yeah.
I feel like every 3 seasons we get a Kumbaya song.
And we always get just the entire town coming together to destroy something and sinking.
Yeah.
Like, they do have a really weird cult mentality.
Yeah, we talked about it before, but I think that is, again, we have gotten away from it for a while in the show. I feel like we're starting to get back, you know, in a lot of rough ways, but, you know, in some better ways like this. With South Park being based off of real world South Park, which is, you know, this place where there's just so many stories of all this crazy stuff, and it feels like none of this shit could, like, you just hear all this stuff, and every time you hear something about real world South Park, you're like, that can't be real. That's like the Florida Man shit.
Right.
You know? But just more like actual urban legends rather than just Florida's, like, looseness on what they can print in the news. But yeah, I feel like we're going back to that with South Park feeling like this closed off community where they're all this one way, and they all just, like, you know, someone could just be like, yeah, there's just a ghost mayor in South Park, and then people would just be like, okay. Sure. I feel like we're getting back to that like sort of level of things.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I feel like we were kind of having the town be more divided and having them, like, be more like, this is ridiculous. Something supernatural wouldn't happen. Whereas, like, I feel like South Park, the South Park people that I know and love are definitely the, like, immediately jumping on board to having an excuse for anything.
Yeah. A lot of, like, last season's episodes were more of a, like, South Park is a stand-in for America.
Yeah.
Like, even if the episode doesn't blow up that big.
Yeah.
Whereas I do think there has to be a happy medium there of sometimes they are just going to be like, this is what the country is like, but it's within South Park. And sometimes they gotta be like this.
Yeah. I think the ones where I prefer where they're doing, like, this is a encapsulation of America or whatever, I think works so much better in the school.
Okay.
Rather than when they try and do it for all of South Park, that's a little bit too much.
Okay.
Like, I think the school is a much better setting for
Right.
that. Especially because you have the, like, such hierarchies of government in school already.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the town does not really have that. Like, it has the mayor, but she is just kind of like, she never feels like she has really authority at all.
Yeah.
And same with, you know, Bar Brady. He doesn't really have any actual authority.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think the school is a much better setting for
Sure.
that. There's different dynamics, and the, you know, everybody, like, being all from the kids' perspective, and then the teachers. It's this bigger layer. Rather than when we see the town, it's almost always our 4 boys and the adults. When we see the whole town, we very rarely ever see the kids as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is one of the first ones where I remember seeing on TV, and it was, like, censored very, very heavily.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, all the poops taken out. Every single poop in this episode completely taken out. Like, yeah, this episode is just shorter on TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they didn't, like, censor in terms of, like, putting something over it. They were just like, it would just cut, you know, right before the poop. So but they did have the poop joke at the beginning.
Right.
So it's really weird because it's just a really nonsensical poop joke at the beginning because they don't have any of the follow up for it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the first one where I remember watching on TV, getting to me like, oh, here goes the poop joke. What? I will never get tired of Randy's, like, you know, dying personality, like, where we'll just cut him and he always, the dying voice specifically.
Yeah.
It's with the Stan.
It's really good.
It's so good. They're like, yeah, as you, like, come into him and you actually, for a second, it's like, is that sores on his face? And then you and me to go, no, that's just stickers. I love the effectiveness of it though. As the camera pans over, it really feels like it's just pores. And because of, we've done this so many times before, of, like, he'll get served and it's like, yeah, that did actually hurt him physically. Right. You kind of like, is he actually getting sick? The shot of them all eating dinner with the tray tables and the like the tray tables, then the tray, then the plastic bowls and the ramen and the Oh man, all the stuff in the background. It is so exactly like my mom at this exact time.
Okay.
This is such a perfect encapsulation of early 2000s. I feel like so much of the like, you know, lower middle class family, which is definitely what Stan's family is like supposed to be, you know, we went from being like really poor and just being like, guys, we're just poor and this is the way it is. Then Walmart comes to your town and you're like, oh shit, I can afford shit from Walmart now? Mm-hmm. And then you do that, you start seeing how bad Walmart is. Mm-hmm. And then, but like before that, like this sort of thing of the aesthetic of just all this weirdly mismatching stuff of like, this is what fancy people have, right? A rug that is like multicolored squares that are no like congruency between any of it at all. Just a picture of a wine bottle on the screen. And yeah, I think like once we got into like 2010, around there forward was once we started going like, what is the point of these trays of the tray tables and then the tray on top of that? Mm-hmm. And it's like do we think this is what rich people do? Do we think this is what the upper class does? They get to eat their dinner at their TV with their huge TV and they get to eat their ramen. Yeah, it's yeah. Also, like I talked about it before, but the vibe of just Randy in his work shirt and Grandpa in his work shirt as they are just watching TV and eating dinner is so strong. The soda bottle on the floor next to them. It's just the vibes are assaulting me on my soul.
I'm kind of sad we didn't play up more of the small businesses in South Park because South Park does. Like, it is laid out like an RPG.
Yeah, they have a lot of small businesses.
A lot of small businesses do, like, one thing specifically,
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It actually reminds me a lot of, like, Stardew Valley, in which, like, there is all these, like, small little businesses where you can get stuff, but then there's also the giant Walmart right over there. Yeah. And, like, nobody in the town likes the giant Walmart, but, you know, they're all like, oh, but, you know, it is 2 a.m. and I gotta get my glass.
Yeah.
Like, Amazon is the new one with that for this. But I feel like there's going to be an episode where we can talk about Amazon later. So, yeah, we'll wait on that one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, Amazon's a big one now. And that's that's such a harder problem because now it's like Walmart comes to your town. Right. And then it's right there in your town. But then at the same time, it's like, well, I can ignore it and go to this other thing. Because at the same time, I have to go out to go to Walmart to get the thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, now, you don't. With Amazon.
Yeah.
You can either get it from Amazon and get it like next day, or you can get it from somewhere else and wait months, especially in COVID times, where you can just maybe not, you know, get it for, you know, a year or something. Like, you know, some people just can't ship out shit right now, like really small businesses, because they just can't. And it's like, yeah, it's a much different issue with Amazon. Much different. Like, you know, Amazon's fucked up and you really shouldn't, but...
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get to it, because...
Sure, yeah.
I'm also sure things are going to change so much more by the time we get there.
Yeah.
So, you know what, we'll have time for that. This is a more specific... I like putting ourselves in, like, the time period of this, where I'm trying not to imagine that Amazon exists as it does.
Sure.
We're talking about the Wall-Marts, the Kmarts, the Targets, the big old, giant fucking places.
At this point in Canada, we had Zellers, which was our big box store. And that was... Like, that had the extra dystopian vibes. I remember walking around and it just felt very cheap. It felt a lot like also McDonald's at the time, but like a big place.
Yeah.
It was like big, I guess big McDonald's is really the best way to put it.
Big McDonald's.
They had a big old mascots. They had garbage.
What?
They just had like big like boxes full of like, you know, just DVDs and clothing and like toys, and it's just like
garbage.
Just pick something out of here.
Yeah.
And I do hate that I never got to have the thing you were describing of the like, you go to this place and it's super cheap and it feels like a wonderland.
Oh yeah.
Because Zellers was bad. Walmart was also bad because they have to import everything from the US to Canada, so it's all like not expensive, but it's worse. I
mean, also your family is not that. Yeah. You know, you're upper middle class.
Yeah. The closest we got to that, I think, was when Sam's Club opened up. We had the like, you can...
I will tell you, Sam's Club is definitely known as the rich people's Walmart.
That makes sense. We went through a period of, we can buy a cheesecake every week. And then eventually my dad went, we shouldn't buy a cheesecake every week because it's bad for us.
Yeah. But yeah, Sam's Club is definitely Sam's
Yeah.
Club, BJ's, the like exclusive clubs
Oh, yeah,
are definitely
Costco.
they are that is like the
Okay, yeah,
my
yeah.
family would shop at Walmart. My grandmother would be shopping at BJ's or at Sam's Club or
Yeah.
any of those places.
You know what?
It's the real divide.
I'm gonna change what I just said. You're right, I felt this.
I don't know if you felt this.
I kind of felt this.
Yeah, but anyway, I think like the thing with like Walmart specifically, it's different now because barely Walmart's not really much of a thing anymore in terms of like I mean, it still is, but it's Amazon's a much bigger thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you cannot afford it otherwise, then shop at Walmart. But if you can, you shouldn't be. And that's really
Yeah.
like the thing to be taking away. It's not like a never shop at Walmart, they're horribly evil. It's like, yeah, they're horribly evil. But if you are so poor that you cannot afford shopping at the other places, then yeah, you should be shopping at the place where, I mean, really, realistically, if you're so poor that you are like that you need to be shopping at Walmart to be able to be surviving and
Right.
thriving and that, just steal it. Walmart's not going to care. They're really not going to care. Just steal it.
When Target opened up in Canada, we had this whole thing of like, Zellers closed down because they made some bad choices. And Target decided, okay, in order to really, like, expand, we were going to, open up a few stores and try it out. But what if we just bought all the Zellers? And so they did. And so they didn't have anything in them.
Okay.
Like, they were very, very empty. And so there was this, like, whole period of, Target's pretty cool, but they're also really expensive, and they don't have anything that anywhere else doesn't have. And also, you can just go across the border to America, and it's literally twice as cheap.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to do about this. Like, do you sign up for a credit card? Do you take stuff? Do you buy stuff? Like, no one was really sure what to do.
I don't know. Barely even know what you're talking about.
It was a really surreal experience. Like, just imagine an entire group of stores opening up across the country, and everyone's expression is not a, like, I guess we'll shop here, or this is bad, or this is good, but just a puzzled, like, I don't know how to interact with this. It is as if aliens came down, and they opened an alien store, and they were selling, like, the splorbles, and you're like, I don't know what this is. I legitimately don't
say
understand
that's about what
this
Target is like, Most people, I would say, yeah, the number one thing I've heard about Target is, what is the point of this? Why would I not just shop at Target, why would I not just shop at Walmart or any other place? Like, Target is really that middle ground of, like, who the hell shops there?
Right. It is the perfect intersection of the prices of a small mom and pop store and the size and evil of a Walmart.
You know what I will say? The only people who shop at Target are old people who do not realize that Walmart has electronics, and I don't know how they don't realize it. But like that is definitely a thing I've heard from like family gatherings. Like oh yeah, we got to go to Target to get this, and I'm like, well, we're just in Walmart, and they're just like, but Target has the electronics.
I can actually understand that, because at least the Targets in Canada had the electronics, I believe, more in the middle of the store, whereas Walmart has them in the back.
Oh, very, very back. Yeah.
And it is a, like, I do think it is.
And I think what people think of that as the TV section.
Okay.
I don't think they think of it as the electronics section. I think they think of it as the TV section.
Makes sense. I think it has to come from a version of, corporate planning in which they were, like, they didn't want to admit they had electronics. Because they were like, well, we don't want people to think we're a Radio Shack, so we're going to hide them. And now, due to the floor plan, people just don't see them, and they don't, like, consciously realize that the electronics are there.
Yeah. And I feel like Target, advertises electronics a lot, whereas, like, Walmart just, it's not like, there's not, like, a big sign outside that says we also have electronics, as opposed to, like, nobody's like, who's driving by a Walmart and I'm like, oh, wait, they have plants? Like, yeah, no shit. Like, why do you need a giant sign that says that? People know that about Walmart.
Like, for the first half of the year, Switch was completely sold out in Canada. For the second half of the year, consistently, they've had the limited edition Animal Crossing Switch. And I've, like, I've been thinking about it multiple times. Like, do we want one? I guess we don't really need one. And they haven't moved at all. And I see threads constantly on, like, Canadian, like, purchasing boards where people are like, the Switch is sold out everywhere. Because no one thinks to look at Walmart, because Walmart doesn't have an electronics section that people can, like, visualize.
Yeah, they just don't think about it.
It's just invisible.
It's like those things where, like, a video game will come out and Walmart will have, like, an exclusive pre-order, and they're like, wait, Walmart sells video games? It's like, yeah, they always have.
Oh, boy.
It's just nobody ever remembers. And they try, so that's why they do the pre-order shit, because nobody ever remembers. And they're
Right.
like, please, guys, we have video games, too. We have a whole section. Alright, let me get into the trivia. Okay. They're not crazy.
Okay.
So, this episode's title and theme were inspired by the 1983 Disney movie, Something
Okay.
Wicked This Way Comes, based on the 1962 novel by Ray Bradbury.
Okay, I've never seen that.
So, Something Wicked This Way Comes
It is,
is
yeah.
not just a Macbeth thing.
Right. It's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, the title was taken from the line of Macbeth, but it
Ah.
is also a thing. Okay. So, not crazy. Something Wicked This Way
Yeah.
Comes was a content thingy.
Okay.
So some of the plot does come from Something Wicked This Way Comes. Not
Okay.
sure how much, but like, yeah, we should look at that at
should.
some point. We say that so often, but at some point we're just gonna do a react. Once we finish South Park, we're gonna be doing reacting
no.
to everything South Park has referenced.
Oh, no. I'm not committed to that one.
No, I am absolutely not. I'm gonna actually go back and check that. The bar where they meet the owner of Wall-Mart in was supposed to be like a parody of the Drunken Clam from Family Guy. And yeah, I can kind of see it. I can see it for sure.
I can see it from the shot where we're looking at his face, and like behind him is the area where like Peter Dashwood sits.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely buy it if that was the case.
Hmm.
Don't know if that was truly supposed to be a reference or if, that's just how a lot of bars look, but
Yeah.
you know.
That's all. Those are also like the same seating areas as the IHOP, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. They probably just reused those assets.
Mm.
But yeah, maybe not supposed to be a parody then, but it certainly looks like it.
It could be for sure.
So, when Randy enters this Walmart, he says, "It's beautiful." That soundbite of Randy saying that originated, like that soundbite in Randy's voice first came up in the episode Free Hat, where Steven Spielberg said it watching Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Back during that episode, I said, there is a soundbite that plays during this episode that then plays in a later episode for a completely different character.
So
I don't know
weird.
why, but they used that exact same soundbite for Randy entering going, "It's
Okay.
beautiful." I don't understand. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Did you actually know what the like Garrison saying we should burn down the Walmart, and then the chef saying we should freeze it was a reference to? It's a reference to The Shining, actually, in which in the book the hotel burns and in the film it freezes.
Ah.
Okay, that's all the trivia for this episode. We'll
Okay.
see you guys for the next episode, Preschool.
Ooh. Okay.
Till then, get the fuck out of here.